Have you felt it? That subtle hum of change, maybe? It seems to be getting louder every day.
Definitely.
It's the sound of artificial intelligence reshaping our world. It feels like it's happening at an astonishing pace, redefining everything from how we work to, well, how we learn. Welcome to Tomorrow Unveiled, your compass for navigating these really powerful shifts.
Glad to be here.
Today, we're diving deep into our latest research report, Future Proofed. And this isn't just about, vague predictions. It's a distillation of the most important insights from just the past 7 days, June 22nd to the 29th, 2025. We're focusing specifically on the societal, economic, and cultural transformations that are already underway, driven by tech and this new era of abundance people are talking about.
Right.
Our mission here at Tomorrow Unveiled is to give you a shortcut, a way to be truly well-informed by extracting those crucial nuggets of knowledge. And crucially, these are insights corroborated across multiple, diverse sources. Our dedicated research team compiled this, making sure we're giving you a robust, evidence-based understanding.
Yeah. And what's really emerging from this week's findings is, well, it's pretty clear.
Yeah.
We are at a critical inflection point. I mean, human productivity, learning, our very economic participation.
Yeah.
It's all being fundamentally redefined.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't just about technological change, though. It feels like a broader societal recalibration towards what some are calling abundance-based economic models.
Okay, abundance-based. What does that mean exactly?
Think of it like a shift from economies defined by scarcity,
Mm-hmm.
where resources are limited, often expensive, to systems where technology makes goods, services, information.
Yeah.
Just so plentiful they become, well, almost limitless.
Oh.
The challenge, of course, then becomes how we distribute that newfound wealth. That's the big question.
Right. Okay, let's jump straight into maybe the most immediate impact, the workplace. Because there's a seismic shift happening there.
Shit.
Our deep dive reveals something truly remarkable. Industries embracing AI, they aren't just saving money, they're exploding in growth. Our dedicated research team confirmed this. They found productivity in these AI-exposed industries has nearly quadrupled. It jumped from about 7% growth to a staggering 27% between 2018 and 2024.
Quadrupled. That's incredible.
And get this, those same industries saw revenue per employee triple. So the key insight here for you, I think, is AI isn't just about doing more with less, it's about fundamentally generating more wealth and opportunity.
Exactly. That's the crucial point. This isn't merely a cost-cutting tool. The data strongly suggests AI is a significant value creator, and that aligns with those broader economic forecasts, the ones predicting trillions in annual productivity growth globally. It's about generating unprecedented new value, not just streamlining existing processes.
Okay, but it's not just about raw productivity, is it? There's this fascinating dynamic playing out with job growth and what's being called the AI wage premium.
Ah, yes, the premium.
While overall job numbers are still growing, the research indicates that industries more exposed to AI are actually seeing jobs grow faster, and their wages, rising twice as fast as in less exposed sectors.
Twice as fast.
And here's a truly surprising fact our research team found. Workers who possess specific AI skills now command an average wage premium of 56% over their peers. 56%. That's a dramatic increase from just 25% last year.
Wow, that is dramatic. It really begs the question then, doesn't it? What defines a skilled worker in this new era? We're seeing what some call the Great Reskilling. It's not mass unemployment, not like some feared, but it's a rapid, almost frantic reevaluation of what skills hold value. Those routine cognitive tasks, the kind that are easily systematized, their value is just plummeting.
Okay.
But skills like AI development, collaborating with AI systems, strategic oversight, those are skyrocketing.
Okay, so we've talked about the skills in demand, but who is AI actually impacting? For a long time, automation was about the factory floor, right?
Right, physical labor mostly.
Yeah. But our research reveals this wave is fundamentally different. Generative AI is now directly targeting the very core of knowledge work. Positions in finance, insurance, business services, government, even healthcare, they're increasingly vulnerable. The research team notes roles like medical schedulers or financial advisors, things we thought were pretty safe, are now really on the front lines of this transformation.
Precisely. Generative AI has the potential to disrupt tasks for over 30% of U.S. workers. That's a huge number. And that includes traditionally higher-paid professions that need significant cognitive input, like marketers, HR professionals, accountants, even software developers. It truly is a widespread transformation, affecting nearly every white-collar profession.
But here's where it gets interesting, almost a paradox, a counterintuitive twist. While AI excels at that standardized cognitive work, our dedicated research team found a growing economic premium on uniquely human, non-cognitive skills.
Yes, this is so important.
We're talking about things like emotional intelligence, creativity, critical thinking, adaptability, the stuff machines will struggle with.
This is a crucial insight for you listening. What's genuinely surprising is a statistic from just this past week. Unemployment rates for workers with liberal arts degrees are currently about half those of computer scientists and engineers.
Get out. Really? Half?
Half. This really highlights a fundamental shift in market value. It's towards individuals who can blend technical literacy with strong human-centric abilities. So to be future-proofed, as you put it, it's about cultivating deep domain expertise, yes, but also high non-cognitive intelligence, and crucially, functional literacy in collaborating with AI. You need both sides.
That leads right into what the research highlights as the skills velocity challenge. This sounds intense.
It is.
The half-life of professional skills, it's shrinking dramatically. From an average of 5 years, which already felt fast, down to just 2.5 years.
2.5 years. Think about that.
What this means, the research team highlights, is that on average, somewhere between 39% and 54% of a worker's core skills are expected to be transformed or even rendered obsolete by 2030.
That's a huge chunk of anyone's skill set.
Mm.
And when you connect this to the bigger picture, this pace of change just makes the traditional education to career model, well, fundamentally incompatible with the current reality, doesn't it?
Completely.
It absolutely necessitates continuous lifelong learning for everyone, no matter where you are in your career. The old idea of, learn once and you're set for life,
Yeah.
it's simply gone.
That leads us perfectly into how education itself is trying to transform to prepare for this AI age.
Big challenge there, too.
The research team reports there's kind of a dual-track AI revolution happening in education. Very different approaches in K-12 versus higher ed. In K-12, the adoption seems to be largely bottom-up, teacher-led. A remarkable 6 in 10 U.S. K-12 teachers are now using AI tools.
6 in 10 already. Wow.
And they're saving, on average, 5.9 hours per week. That adds up. It's like getting 6 school weeks back per year. Just by automating tasks like lesson prep and making worksheets, that's a huge time saver for overloaded teachers.
That is significant. But then you look at higher education, and it's a stark contrast, isn't it? The response there is far more strategic.
Yeah.
Very top-down.
Exactly.
Universities are making AI a top strategic priority. They're establishing formal campus-wide policies, actively redesigning curricula to embed AI competencies. Some institutions are even making AI engagement mandatory for all students.
Which creates this fascinating potential gap, as you said.
Yeah.
And this leads to what we're calling the AI literacy cliff. Imagine 2 students graduating high school today. One, maybe entirely self-taught, has been using AI for all their projects for years. The other has had basically no exposure at all.
Right. Big difference.
They both arrive at a university that assumes a foundational AI understanding because it's part of the new strategy. This isn't just about catching up on homework, it's a fundamental skills gap. And that could seriously widen existing societal divides, creating real challenges for equitable access to future opportunities.
Absolutely. This really just underscores the urgent need for a cohesive, standardized AI literacy framework, something that spans the entire educational pipeline from elementary school all the way through to lifelong learning. It's becoming like reading and writing, isn't it?
Yeah.
AI literacy is becoming a core competency for just navigating the modern world.
All right, let's turn our attention to policy and ethics then. Because as AI permeates, well, everything, building the right guardrails is absolutely crucial.
Couldn't agree more. Very tricky territory.
Our research examined the diverging global approaches to AI governance. We contrasted the United States and the European Union, mainly. In the U.S., the approach is, well, it's pretty decentralized, a state-level patchwork, really. Our research team noted, for example, 48 states introduced AI-related bills recently, 26 actually enacted measures.
A patchwork is a good word for it.
And California's really leading the way, particularly on regulating AI and employment, with proposals like the No Robo-Bosses Act.
Right. And what's interesting here is that the U.S. model prioritizes what they call permissionless innovation, basically letting development run fast without needing prior government approval.
Faster innovation, maybe?
Potentially.
Right.
But it leads to a really complex compliance landscape for businesses. They have to navigate this dizzying array of state-specific rules, very fragmented. Conversely, the EU is pursuing a centralized, comprehensive AI Act. It's a risk-based framework, categorizing AI systems by their potential for harm and imposing obligations accordingly. Much more structured.
So this divergence, it's essentially becoming a kind of geopolitical contest, right? A battle between the Brussels effect, the idea that the EU sets global standards through comprehensive regulation,
Right.
and the California effect, where U.S. states try to set standards through sheer market power.
That's a good way to put it. But beyond these regional differences, there are global frameworks emerging, trying to find some common ground.
Like what? How do
Yeah.
you regulate something that changes so fast?
Well, that's the challenge. The OECD, for instance, has new AI capability indicators. It's a standardized methodology for comparing AI to human capabilities across 9 domains, things like language, creativity, problem solving. And you got UNESCO establishing core principles for AI ethics, focusing on human rights, fairness, transparency. The idea behind capability-based regulation is that it's more pragmatic, maybe more future-proof,
How so?
because it shifts the focus from regulating the technology itself, which is always evolving, to regulating its demonstrable capabilities. What can it actually do? It's a much more adaptive approach.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, what's truly powerful, and something our dedicated research team found consistently across all the sources they reviewed, is this mandate for human in the loop.
Yes, this came up again and again.
There seems to be universal consensus. Across policy, ethics, even commercial discussions, everyone agrees on the need for meaningful human oversight. You see it in California's proposed ban on relying solely on AI for employment decisions, new international ethical principles in healthcare, even in customer service, where, get this, 95% of leaders plan to retain human agents alongside AI.
It's vital. Human in the loop is no longer just some technical term for engineers. It's becoming a fundamental ethical and social principle. It's about ensuring legal accountability, mitigating bias, preventing errors, and crucially, preserving human agency in consequential decisions. And for you, the listener, what this really means is that successful AI products now require effective human-machine interfaces and workflows, which interestingly reinforces the economic value of human judgment and critical thinking.
That's a great point. Okay, quick pause here. If you're finding this insightful on YouTube, please take just a moment to like this video, subscribe to Tomorrow Unveiled, and definitely turn on notifications so you never miss an update on the future. And if you're listening on a podcast service like Apple Podcasts or Spotify, we'd be incredibly grateful if you could leave us a rating and review for Tomorrow Unveiled. It truly helps us reach new listeners.
It really does.
All right, let's bring these big macro trends back down to earth with some real-world case studies, starting with finance. Our dedicated research team observed a really interesting split. In established markets, like the U.S., AI seems to be mostly enhancing efficiency, payment automation, fraud detection, that sort of thing.
Incremental improvement.
Right. But in emerging markets across Africa, Asia, and Latin America, AI is enabling the creation of entirely new financial ecosystems. It's allowing countries to essentially leapfrog traditional banking systems altogether.
It's fascinating, and there are concrete examples just from the past week. I&M Bank in East Africa, for instance, is deploying AI for anti-money laundering across 5 countries. We're seeing strong venture capital growth pouring into Asian financial AI. And significant fintech growth in Nigeria, they thought, a 70% increase in 2024 alone. Digital transactions in Indonesia surged by 226%.
Wow.
This divergence really represents a potential geoeconomic shift. It could actually rebalance the global financial system as these regions build AI-native financial services from the ground up.
Okay, now let's switch to the legal profession. Our research confirms that 79% of law firms have already integrated AI tools. 79%.
That's a high adoption rate.
And nearly half of all lawyers are now using AI for legal research. The efficiency gains our research team found are just staggering, like reducing the time to draft a complaint response from maybe 16 hours down to just 3 or 4 minutes. Or accelerating contract approval by 90%.
So the immediate question everyone asks is AI replacing lawyers?
Right.
And the research, again, overwhelmingly suggests it's augmenting, not replacing them, at least for now. AI automates the routine, tedious tasks, freeing lawyers up for higher value work, strategic thinking, client counseling, complex negotiations.
Makes sense.
But there's that inherent tension again between the business imperative for automation and efficiency and the ethical imperative for human accountability, which points right back to the crucial need for those robust human-in-the-loop systems in law, too.
Always back to the human element.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move to healthcare. AI is rapidly becoming, well, almost indispensable as a clinical and administrative tool there.
Huge potential in healthcare.
It's enhancing diagnostics, accelerating drug discovery, streamlining workflows. The research team notes that even the FDA is using its own large language model, called ELSA, for drug safety assessments. And new commercial tools are popping up everywhere for mental health support, patient navigation, administrative tasks, you name it.
Yeah, the applications are exploding. But what's truly significant, maybe even more than the tech itself, is a crucial non-technical development from just the past week. 6 leading international healthcare organizations adopted a new joint ethical principle specifically on AI in healthcare.
Oh, interesting. What does it focus on?
It focuses on autonomy, data stewardship, and shared accountability. This signals a really important shift. It's moving beyond just proving AI's technical performance, its accuracy, to earning the deep trust of patients, clinicians, and regulators. The next frontier in healthcare AI isn't just about building better models, it's about building more trustworthy systems that genuinely prioritize patient well-being and autonomy.
Trust seems to be a recurring theme here, which brings us to the challenges and considerations. Because while the potential of AI is immense, our dedicated research team indicates that it's also poised to amplify existing societal divides.
Unfortunately, yes.
It could exacerbate that historical trend we've seen of productivity growth decoupling from wage growth. You know, the economy grows, but wages stagnate for many. Our analysis found that the IMF estimates AI will impact up to 60% of jobs in advanced economies, with a high potential to increase both income and wealth inequality.
60%. And this is what we're calling the abundance gap. It's this growing chasm between the immense value AI creates and the share of that value that actually gets distributed to the majority of people.
Right.
And it's critical to understand this isn't technologically inevitable. It's not baked into the AI itself. It's a direct result of policy choices we make or fail to make. So the big question society has to grapple with is, who will benefit most from this coming era of abundance, and how do we ensure those benefits are broadly shared?
A huge question. And finally, let's talk about another major challenge: a looming crisis of trust and implementation.
The practical side.
The research team found that over 40% of these advanced agentic AI projects, the ones designed to operate largely autonomously, are predicted to be discontinued by 2027.
40% failure rate projected. That's high.
Why? Because of unclear ROI, unsustainable costs, poor risk management, and get this, a staggering 61% of AI projects fail due to a fundamental lack of trust in the underlying data they are fed. Garbage in, garbage out, right.
Exactly. Data quality is paramount.
Right.
And this points to the emerging AI readiness gap. You hear vendors, maybe agent washing, simpler tools, making them sound more capable than they are. But the reality is, only about 2% of firms are truly prepared for large-scale, sophisticated AI adoption. 2%.
Wow.
It's also reflected in public sentiment. Only 39% of the general public anticipates a positive impact from AI over the next 20 years. Compare that to 56% of experts. There's a disconnect.
Yeah.
So what this means for you, the listener, is that trust, not just the technology itself, is the ultimate bottleneck to successful AI adoption.
Yeah.
It requires significant, serious investment in data quality, transparency, ethical frameworks, and clear communication.
So as we wrap up this deep dive on future-proofed, what does it all mean for you? We've explored this profound transformation of work, of education, the critical need for thoughtful policy and ethical guardrails, and these really pressing challenges of inequality and trust in this new AI-driven world. The imperative for continuous adaptation, it just seems clearer than ever.
Indeed. The findings from this week, they really suggest 2 potential trajectories for society. It's like a fork in the road. The first is what we might call the augmentation trajectory. That's where AI enhances human capabilities, creates new roles, leads to higher value work, and hopefully shared prosperity.
The optimistic path.
The optimistic path. The second, more challenging path is the automation descaling trajectory. That's where AI primarily replaces human labor, particularly in those routine cognitive areas, potentially exacerbating inequality and descaling parts of the workforce.
And the path we take.
It's not predetermined. That's the key. It's not set by the technology. It's a matter of societal choice. Policy choices, business choices, individual choices. This is why you're seeing the serious reemergence of debates around things like universal basic income, UBI, as a potential policy response to that abundance gap we talked about.
Right. Okay, so for you listening, as an individual navigating this, here are some actionable recommendations based on the research. First, embrace continuous lifelong learning. Seriously. That half-life of skills is shrinking fast, so you have to keep learning.
Absolutely essential.
Second, actively develop both your AI literacy, understand how these tools work, how to use them effectively, and those uniquely human non-cognitive skills. Creativity, critical thinking, collaboration, emotional intelligence. Third, strive to become an expert human in the loop. Master the art of prompting AI, supervising its work, critically evaluating its output in whatever field you're in. Be the human guide.
Be the guide, not just the user.
Exactly. And finally, use AI to build what some call super agency. Automate the low-value, time-consuming tasks to free up your time and energy for the strategic, creative, and interpersonal activities where only you can truly shine.
That's powerful. Which leads to maybe a final thought to leave you with. If AI's greatest power isn't just to do what we do faster, but maybe to free us to do what only we can do, what unique human capabilities will you choose to cultivate and apply in this new era?
That's a great question to ponder. We love hearing your thoughts on all this. Whether you're on YouTube or your favorite podcast app, please leave a comment and let us know what you think about future-proofed and what it means for your tomorrow. And one last reminder, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, leaving a rating and review for Tomorrow Unveiled really does help new listeners find us. We appreciate it hugely. Thank you so much for tuning in to Tomorrow Unveiled. We'll be back soon with another insightful deep dive into the future.